Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to a update on the historical content. Creative Assembly just released a blog on it, and this is the first time we've heard any historical news since I think July 5th, with the last one going over the saga, which people kind of tore apart pretty quickly, and we'll actually get to that in the questions. So in this, they interviewed the three historical project directors, Maya, Jack, and Janos. Maya, she is in control of the next expansion, as we find out. Jack is in control of the new saga, and then Janos is in charge of the next major historical titles. So we're going to dive right into it. I'm not reading this verbatim. I'm mainly kind of going over the questions and then summarizing and then giving some thoughts on them. So the first question is, what is Maya up to? And she is up to the next campaign expansion for one of the older games. One of the things that's really interesting about what she says is it's still not really clear if it is Rome 2 or if it is Attila. She said that this is one of the biggest historical expansions that CA's done, and they've been working on it for over a year, for the best part of a year. And so they are doing testing at the current time. All the content is in, and it will be the next release, which is hopefully going to be at the end of the year, which is really exciting. It's one of the older games. They said it's the first time they've gone back to a game so long after release. Now, the last thing that we received for Attila was the Age of Charlemagne, and that wasn't too terribly long after release, so it could still be Attila, but all the things that are kind of pointing to Rome 2, and again, we'll get that kind of in the next section. It says the territory, it's new territory in and of itself, and it's something they're keen to explore as a studio, because it opens up lots of exciting future projects if it's successful, which again, just the way they've kind of worded things, it's really kind of unique. I'm still torn between whether it is Attila or Rome 2. She said there's still a lot of people playing this game, but there's also a lot more that they haven't touched in that area yet. So again, really mixed things. And then what is she most looking forward to about the release? And of course, they want to get players to get a big kick out of the new expansion, but there is a big free update coming to the main game that's coming with it. So it's not just an expansion, it's going to be an update to the main game. So I'm wondering if it isn't Rome 2 or Attila. Maybe they're bringing it into the 64-bit realm, much like Warhammer is. I'm really hoping and praying that Attila gets into the 64-bit realm, simply because it needs some terribly needs some optimization. And the only thing it would be is it would kind of screw over the mod developers for ancient empires, medieval kingdoms, etc., because basically just that big update would ruin all the scripting and things that they've done worked so terribly hard on. But regardless, that is it for Maya in the next historical expansion. So let me know if you think it's going to be Rome 2 or whether it's going to be Attila. Again, bringing either of those into the 64-bit realm will greatly increase optimization, which means we'll have higher frame rates, we can have larger armies, and that's especially important for us YouTubers. And personally, I wouldn't mind whether it was Rome 2 or Attila, simply because they are both great looking games. The unit cards are both in their own unique way, and I think it would work regardless. Next, we're moving on to Jack, who is working on our first Total War Saga game. And that screenshot is funny because he was like, yeah, they weren't too obscure with the progress screenshot. We seem to have decoded it pretty quickly, and while the time period is still kind of up for grabs, we can still kind of guess at least where it's going to be coming from. They're coming out after the expansion, so we're looking at next year. A little while till release, but they are hoping to announce something relatively soon, and so I'm really hoping that with the release of Warhammer 2 and that it's officially out, they can really start focusing on promoting the historical things, and that way we can get more information and really satiate the historical guys. And it's going to be, again, the saga is a flashpoint of history, much like Fall of the Samurai. So it is its own game. It is a standalone game, but it is in essence still part of an original title. So for instance, like Fall of the Samurai is a follow-up per se of Shogun 2, it is still its standalone. We know we've mentioned this several times, and that is something he mentions, Jack mentions. You know, it's like Follow the Samurai, as we've mentioned before. It's not small. They said the campaign map is about the size of Shogun 2, which is a pretty decently large campaign map. Now, that doesn't mean in terms of like shape or anything, just literally in size, so we can kind of do some speculation on that. And they're also focusing on creating greater depth too, which is really awesome. A lot of detail, a lot of really good things here. And so yeah, they're working on that. It's new territory for Jack and his team because they've never really done something just like this. And especially, he says in Jack's interview, he says they've worked on all sorts of Total War games, but their last official release as this team was the Age of Charlemagne expansion. So to be able to work on a self-contained standalone title is kind of new territory, but it's also really awesome for them. And then, last but not least, this for Jack, this is really interesting. Anything you can tell us about the subject of the game, it's appeared in place that Jack has personally wanted to make a game about for years. He came from the modding community, and he said that there's going to be some hardcore gamers that will like what they're doing with the Saga title, and then enjoy pulling it apart and modding it. So what I'm really hoping with this little snippet is that with this update, with everything that's coming along with the expansion, which should affect the playability of the Saga title, that we are going to get greater modding tools. That includes modding the map, better modding units for just battle maps, better modding for the units itself, because that has been a big complaint with Attila and Warhammer, is just the slight lack of being able to just really do the kind of modding things that we want to do. So seeing that's going to be really cool. And then last but not least, that little snippet at the very bottom of his interview, oh, and beware the crow. So I don't know what to do with that. I mean, for me, instinctively, when I think of the crow, I think of Odin, and I think of Viking Norse mythology. So of course the screenshot they gave us for the Saga was in that time era, so I don't know if we are going to something Viking related, if it's going to get kind of magic-ish, you know, if they're really going to dive into the religion side of it. I don't know, but that was a really interesting thing, so give me your thoughts on that. And then last but not least, we're getting into Janos and the major historical title, and it says expectations going to weigh pretty heavy on this team, being responsible for the new historical era title since 2013. Okay, so we're gonna get into this in a whole new time period. Expectation is high, but so is the excitement. A brand new era brings a completely different look. They have ramped up to the final team size, so they're still hiring people for this, and I guess actually they've just stopped. So things are moving along steadily with daily visible progress. They have finally, after researching historical city layouts, they finally have them in, so that means battle maps. The battle maps for the city layouts and what are almost in place. There's a few placeholders, but aside from that, it's looking really great, and the gameplay feels strong, which means hopefully from that little snippet, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this assumption out there that hopefully we'll have multi-wall settlement sieges. That's my thought. I'm really hoping that's how it is. And so things are really moving at the moment. There's a mocap studio where they do a lot of their animation, where they do stuntmen and stuff. Said it's just a short walk from the studio, and the team has been down there a lot because their stuntmen are drawing quite a crowd with what they're doing. So they always work with professionals, but this time around we're taking a much more ambitious approach to mocap than we have with previous historical titles. We've invested extra time, effort, and external experts to get the maximum impacts, and I'm sure fans will be impressed when they see these fully released animations in the actual game. So I'm going to take a quick pause here because I have been asked this several times, and I am fully under the belief that we are going to hopefully see something in China. We're going to go into that kind of realm. So thinking on that, thinking of all of the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of movies and stuff, for them to draw that kind of a crowd, And for the team to be that excited about the animations, it has to be stuff we haven't really seen before. And sure, medieval animations are awesome. Sure, Roman Legionnaire and that kind of stuff is awesome. But you got to think Japanese warfare is just really smooth. It's really amazing. But this is a new era, so that means we might just jump across the channel real quick and get into Chinese warfare, which also has that similar style, which means, you know, a part of the complaints about some of the last games has been the lack of really awesome animations. And so I'm hoping that we are going to see something in China, that they are doing some really cool things with some really cool weapons over in the animation studio, and that's going to translate over into the game. Very excited to see what they do if it is China. If not, then it'll be interesting just to see what is so amazing about the animations in this game that are drawing the crowds and that they are investing more experts and more time and more effort into. And then last, the question, a brand new era though, it's got to be easy to guess. Jano says there are plenty of eras Total War hasn't been to yet, so he wouldn't say that. But there are some more obvious ones that people are excited about and that Creative Assembly is excited about, and they said that they have a big list, so it's easy to come up with a lot of eras that we could do. They have their favorites, and some of them are relatively obscure, and we have eras on that list we've actually already been to that we want to do again. And this is what really makes me very happy. This last little couple of snippets on Janus's interview. Mike Simpson gave an interview years ago that we see fans quote all the time, where he says he doesn't think we'll do a 3, so a medieval 3, a Rome 3, a Shogun 3. Said that is a long time ago. We've changed our minds 100 times on that since, so all bets are off when we're thinking on our next game. But this particular game will be brand new, and that means we can explore interesting new concepts while still bringing what makes it Total War to the game. So while this new historical release that hasn't, you know, it's been 4 years according to this since we've had a new era, it's going to be completely new, it's going to be completely different. But, sorry, I smacked my mic there, but that means we could be seeing Medieval 3, we could be seeing Rome 3, we could be seeing Shogun 3 anytime in the future after that. So that's super exciting. That gives a lot of hope to a lot of historical fans, that they're not going to just never do a medieval again. They'll never go back to Rome, and they'll never go back to Shogun. It's just they're going to try something new this time, and we'll see what happens in the next one. So guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to read the blog, definitely go read it yourself. And also the test still, that is the file name up here, is going to be what's been in the background this whole time. So let me know your thoughts on what you think that era is based on that screenshot. I'm sure you can pull some things that I haven't pulled from it yet, and just let me know your thoughts and opinions on what is going on these titles, what eras you think they are, and yeah, speculate away. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my commentary on it. I'm very excited, and I'm very happy that they have released stuff and hope to release more and more content as we get closer. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!